What's going on, Shady people? ShadyPenguinn here. Welcome you back to another Duel Links video. Now this one is going to be different because I'm going to be talking about the update that just occurred last night after the end of the Kaiba Corp. But first, I have a pretty bad story for you guys. So I was in the top 500 with that YuGiOh deck. As I showed you guys the deck, I ended up getting to like 500. It was top 500. It was top 600. It was like 521. And last night at 11:30, I decided, you know what? When I checked again, I was at like 750, and I was like, crap, people have really been playing and grinding. I really want to make sure I'm in the top 1,000. So let me go ahead, do one more duel, get a victory, secure my spot. Lo and behold, 30 minutes of losing later, I ended up being 1,100. It just super upsetting, super upsetting that I missed out on. Most importantly for me, 100,000 gold. I really wanted that. I really wanted 300,000 gold, so instead I only got 200,000 gold, but it was in the top 10,000. That just hurts right there, especially because I had it. I'm pretty sure if I didn't duel at all, I wouldn't have gotten knocked out of 785 where I was. There's no way. There's only 215 people, especially because it took me literally losing. I lost like 5, and then I switched to my Kaiba deck and won 1, but it didn't matter, clearly. But just YuGiOh deck was not working towards the end. I was versing some crazy decks, honestly, and I was drawing like complete crap, but that's what happens in this game sometimes, and I realized it last night that because this game is less cards in general on the field, in your hand, in your deck, it is a lot about who can draw better, especially if everyone is playing pay to win, which is why I know you guys want to go ahead and see some budget decks, and I will be doing my best to do that. However, on that note, if you guys want to submit some budget decks, use the hashtag ShadyBudget in the comment section or on Twitter, preferably Twitter, because I will be able to search those much easier, and you'll see your deck featured in the video, because I'm really bad at building budget decks. I just built 2 off screen that I am going to show you guys. Well, one of them is not complete. I got to unlock 1 more card, and it's not an expensive card. It's just a random card. It's Cup of Ace, and it's a really cute deck. I really like it, but it's not finished because I need to unlock that, and then I need to unlock another end. I think it's a rare card or an end card against Bandit Keith. It might be super rare, but if it is, then I can't use it anyway. But I digress. Budget decks are going to be maximum of 1 ultra rare from a pack, maximum of 2 super rares from a pack, and then maximum of 2 super rares from defeating duelists. However, none of those cards can be duplicated because I feel like that's part of the budget. Like, just because you have just because you managed to get 1 Burning Lens doesn't mean you got 2 from that box. So that's going to be budget for me. It's going to be 1 ultra rare, 2 unlockable cards. They can be ultra rares if you want, but 2 unlockable cards from duelists, from legendary duels, and then 2 super rares. So if you guys want to build decks related to that and send them to using the hashtag ShadyBudget, I would appreciate that so much. But anyway, I received my rewards already. I went for my ultra rare. I went for a Ryoku. I advise you guys do the same if you plan on playing this game for a long time. It's a very good farming card. And when you play a prismatic card, you actually get 200 extra points at the end of the duel. And then for my 1 free super rare, which should have been 2, I went with my Econ. I advise if you guys are getting a free super rare, just go with Econ. Just go with Econ. 100%. Anyway, so with the end of the Kaiba Corp, there was also an update. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the leaked characters because I'm just going to wait till it's official. I'm just going to wait till it's official until they're in the game, and that's when I'm going to get hype about them. But there's 4 really cool characters that are coming to the game, apparently. You can look that up on YouTube and show some love to some other content creators. But today, I want to go over the fact that there are new cards in this game right now. They've increased the level cap, as you guys will see. For leveling up, it's beyond 30 now. At level 31, you get 100,000 gold. Right? Is that 100,000? That makes me so happy. I honestly wish it was just 100,000 and 100,000. But it's you go down to 200 gems after getting 300 rating 30. Don't ask me why. I really think that's a misplay by Konami. I think that should either be 300 still, or give me 200,000 gold, please. But that's not the case. Anyway, there are new cards, 2 new cards added to each person's lineup, although not every single card is new. But there's 1 set that changes the game, in my opinion. There's one that not changes the game, but it opens up for a brand new meta, brand new archetype that I've been waiting for it to be viable, or even more viable. So the first new card we're going to see is Spiral Spear Strike. If Gaia the Fierce Knight, Gaia the Swift Knight, if any Gaia of the Knight is on the field and you control attacks and defenses of a monster, it gains piercing. If Gaia the Dragon Champion, if any of those cards, if Gaia the Dragon Champion inflicts battle damage with this effect, draw 2 cards, then discard 1. So this card, I think, is pretty much, in my opinion, pretty dead card because you can only get 1 of them. I don't think it's splashable. I don't think it's having 1 is going to be enough to build a deck around it. It's cute, but I don't think it's enough. However, Swift Gaia the Fierce Knight, which is his level 35 reward, If this card is the only card in your hand, you can normal summon it without tributing. I think this card is super splashable. I genuinely think this card can go in almost any deck. I really like it. One deck specifically, this helps, which is the no hand deck. If you don't know what that deck is, you can use an ability. You can either use Bandit-Keat Switcheroo, which is pretty much the best ability in the game right now, or you can use one of the abilities that says gain 1500 at the beginning of your turn, at the beginning of the game, but start with 2 less cards. This card goes great in that deck. You run Flash Assailants, you run the new, I think it's a rare that's 15/15, and if you have no cards in hand, and no spell or trap in the back row, it's a 3,000 4-star monster. So that deck is becoming more and more viable. I don't think it's there yet, but it will. I think it will be in the future. So keep an eye on it. I don't know if it'll ever be top tier, because if you have no back row for that 15/15, you have no way to counter things. So that aside, the Flash of Talent being 2,000 is really, really good with no cards in hand for 4-star. That alone is great. Kaiba added, I believe, 2 new cards as well. He added Cave Dragon, which I think Cave Dragon is going to be really good. Really, really good. Cannot be normal summoned while you control a monster. This card cannot declare an attack unless you control another Dragon-type monster. However, you can flip summon it. So something as simple as Windstorm or Econ can protect this thing on turn 1, and turn 2 you can have a 2200 Dragon with, of course, Mountain on your side of the field. That's incredible. I really like it. Of course, it's a one-of, so you're not going to always open with it. However, I still think I think it's a viable card. And then the last card for Kaiba is Burst Breath. Tribute 1 Dragon-type monster. Destroy all face-up monsters in the field whose defense is less than or equal to the attack of the tributed monster had on the field. So I think this card is great. I think it's really, really good, mainly because you'll be able to get attacked, and then you just flip it, and it's almost like Order to Charge, but instead you can destroy 3 monsters, because defense really isn't too high. There's not many monsters in this game besides like a couple Gravekeepers and then a couple double tributes that have really high defense. So if you have, like, I don't want to say a Blue Eyes, but if you have your Cave Dragon with 2200 attack out, bop, you're probably wiping your opponent's field. Really, really like it. Then Joey, I believe, does not have 2 new cards. He just has 1 new card. They added another Rocket Warrior, which I think this card is good. During your battle phase, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from this. If this card attacks a monster, after damage calculation, the target loses 500 attack. I think this card is completely possible to be used, because this, say you have 2 Rocket Warriors out, you go attack with 1 into the 1900 Dragon, 1900 Dino that Rex uses, attack again. 2 attacks, gets rid of it. It stinks. I get that it takes 2 attacks, but it's a really clutch way to chip off 500 points of damage. And it's a free monster that cannot be, during your turn, cannot be destroyed by battle. And those cards are always good to look out for, because they can be used for farming methods. And then his last card, which this is the new one, Dice Reroll, basically lets you reroll a die once per turn, which I think this card is just bad. I'm sure it has some use. I get it. Especially with Joey's ability, Last Gamble, where he brings himself down to, like, I think 1 life point or 100 life points, and then he rolls a die, and then he draws that many cards. So it has its place. I get that. It's literally the Joey Wheeler card. So I'm not trying to hate on it too much. I believe, has 2 new cards as well. It's going to be the Amazoness Blowpiper. Select 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. During each of your standby phases, it loses 500 attack. I don't know how good this is going to be. Mainly because, I mean, it has 1500 defense. That I like a lot. But 1500 isn't 1600. If it was 1600, I'd be a lot happier. That number is very, very important in this game right now. Of course, I know we have Jerry Beansmans and we have 1800 Vanillas now, but 1600 still against decks like Rex and a lot of other cards that we were seeing during the Kaiba Cup. 1600 seems to be the good number in this game. So it's an alright card, nothing too crazy. Her last card, though, is Harpy Lady 1. Making Harpies even better, and all win monsters gain 300 attack. So this is an 1800 Harpy Lady if you're playing with her ability that starts with Harpy Hunting Ground. She gains 300 from her own ability, and then she gains 200. That's incredible. And then all win monsters gain 300. This is great in just a win deck. I'm going to get off this because I think that card, I think that Maya is already incredible if you have that ability, which I have to unlock this week, hopefully, so I can bring it to you guys. But ladies and gentlemen, Taya's rewards. While there's nothing new with her, I think that this makes Fairies one of the top tiers. I'm hoping. So you have Freya Spirit of Victory again. She's already had this. And you have another Court of Justice. Now before, you could only have 2. Now you can have 3, and they're unlockable by level up, which means that I'm going to be grinding Taya for the next 3 weeks, probably to get her to 35, hoping that I can get these rewards. But the big idea is that Once per turn, you can special summon one fairy type monster from your hand. You must control a face up level 1 fairy type monster for you to activate and resolve this effect. You can only activate Court of Justice once per turn, which is fine. You don't need to activate it once per turn. So Freya says, while you control a fairy type monster other than Freya, your opponent's monsters cannot attack this card for attacks. Unattackable while you have another monster. So the basic trick is you go Freya, you go Court of Justice, and then you special summon Air Knight. You special summon the 2500 fairy without tributing. It lets you special summon. That alone is incredible. Of course, you can exhaust your resources pretty fast with this method. However, I think that there is a deck that is going to be extremely good with this, because Freya also increases all fairy type monsters by 400 attack. So that Air Knight becomes a 2300 piercing and draw a card. So you can literally restore your resources that you're spending on this deck. I think it's incredible. I cannot wait to make this deck and use it. I do have to buy Air Knights from the shop. In fact, let me just check real quick. I only have one. I think that deck would run 2 or 3. Looks like, no, we have 15 minutes left before the shop refreshes. I'm also working on Gemini. Gemini is a archetype that I haven't seen used really, and I think that it has so much potential. Anyway, let's move on to more new cards for this update, because that's what this video is supposed to be about. Sorry, there's no dueling today. If you don't like this update, you really should just be playing right now. You should be playing while listening to this, because this is just an update. Order to smash. Select one face-up level 2 monster, level 2 or lower normal monster on your side of the field when you activate this card. When this card resolves, you contribute the selected normal monster and destroy 1 or 2 spell and trap cards on your opponent's side of the field. This is great. This gives the ability for the 2-star deck, the light ball deck, to actually be a thing. Because now there's a card that says pop 2 back row. Not even 2 back row. It could be a field spell and something else. It's great. They can be set. They can be face up. I love this card. It gives that archetype a little bit more push. I don't know if it's there quite yet to compete with the top, but it is there. Beatron. I love this card. 400 insect. 1600 attack, 4-star insect. You can send one face-up spell or trap card you control to the graveyard to target one level 4 or lower insect-type monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in face-up defense position. The effective Beatron can only be used once per turn. So you can get a free insect from the grave. Now, what does this mean? This can mean a plethora of things. You can use that as a tribute. You can use this in a relinquished deck, absorb a monster, pop it with Beatron, absorb a monster. That is going to be the play, in my opinion. That's where this B shines. 100% in relinquished. I'm not sure what targets you really want to go for, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can only have one, so it's just a little splash, but it makes insect relinquished a lot more fun, I think, especially with parasite infestation, which is probably the best ability in the entire game. Then Rex's cards I'm actually not familiar with. Let's see what they are. Heatwave, that's right. This card can only be activated at the start of main phase 1. Neither player can normal or special summon an effect monster, so it's really good in Rex's deck as he runs all of those normal monsters, obviously, and it shuts down a lot of other people and a lot of other deck possibilities. For me, Gemini. Gemini gets completely countered by that card, so hopefully it stays at 1 and does not exist any longer. Then you have Spiritual Earth Art, which basically tribute 1 Earth monster and special summon 1 Earth monster from your graveyard that's different from that card. Really, really like it. Or not that same one. If you have 2 copies, you can summon the other copy, but you can't summon the tributed monster to like gain an effect again. So not sure exactly where this shines, to be honest with you. I think that Guardian that flips itself into face down defense position, that could be a pretty good target, because when it's flip summoned, you can destroy, I think you return a monster to your opponent's hand. That's a pretty good target. But you guys can look through your Earth monsters and see where you'd want to put this. Mako, not doing anything too crazy with his cards, I believe. I can't remember. He's adding in Fish and Kicks. If you have 3 or more banished fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monsters, target 1 card in the field and banish it. So that's pretty good. Just straight up, I'm going to banish a card because I have these cards removed. Now, how are you going to get those cards banished? You can run Bazoo in Mako now. You can run Dimensional Alchemist, etc. So it definitely has its place in a Mako deck. And then Amphibious Bugroth. This is going to make Mako burn a thing, in my opinion, because as long as Umi's remains face up in the field, this card can attack your opponent's life points directly. That's 1,700 directly to the face. Actually, I'm sorry. It's 1,300 because Machine gets reduced by Umi. So 1,300 to the face. Hey, listen. And it stays on the field. Almost better than Rabbit. Almost better than Rabbit. Pretty much better than Rabbit. Situational, of course, but it's pretty good. By the way, I'm sick. I'm sorry for the way I sound today. It's going to be like this for a couple days, most likely. Paralyzing Potion. A non-machine type monster equipped with this card cannot attack. I don't like this card. It's the poor man's Mask of Relinquished, but it's obviously worse. It's worse in every way. They both make you can't attack. One does damage every standby phase. One can affect every other card. So this card, I think, is pretty meh. Then you have machine duplication. Target one machine monster you control with 500 or less attack. Special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as that monster. Now, really quick, we didn't do this for Earth, but I will do this for this because I'm interested. I'm interested in this. Let's go view and convert cards. Let's filter. Let's go with machine monsters. I think that'd be normal as well. So normal. Where's machine? Machines. Sort by attack, high to low. So this looks to be the only machine that can duplicate. I own 3 of them. You can get 3 bats on the field, but I don't see anything else with 500 or less attack. So is that card dead? Is that card bad? Let's just make sure that it's definitely normal. Nope. 1 machine monster. Let's go back. Let's go back because now, ladies and gentlemen, there could be something. There could be something. Let's go with monsters, filter, machine. Sort by attack high to low, and let's take a gander. Okay, so now we have more options. We have scan. Oh, I think scanner will not count. You have. I don't. That means they have to count. Question mark has to count. You can get 18 trap disposal unit. You can when your opponent activates a trap card, tribute this face-up card. So it's like it's a monster that counts as a built-in trap jammer. Flip, your opponent cannot activate any spell cards to the end of the next phase. I would not want to duplicate this because I want to flip them. You have this, Union, once per turn, you can either target 1 machine monster you control, equip this card to that, unequip it. Wow, if the equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, draw 1 card. A monster can only be equipped with 1 unit at the same time. So it builds in some resource management. Then you have Jinzo number 7. This monster can attack your opponent's life points directly, so if you can get 3 of those, I don't even know if you can in this game. I feel like you can. I feel like he's an unlockable card. If you Google it, it'll come up. Cyberstein, you cannot get. So, and then Heavy Mech Support Platform, which I don't have yet, but you can get this. It's a Union again. A monster equipped this card gains 500 attack and defense. Also, the equipped monster will be destroyed by battle. Destroy this card instead. So, it's a 500 equip. It'll thin your deck if you run 3 of these plus that trap card, but it's only going to be 1 of those trap cards. So, I don't know. I don't see it being the best. I don't think it paves the way for machines to be broken now by any stretch of the imagination. But let's move on to Ishizu. We have a couple more duelists to cover. Ishizu, I believe, had a new card added. Nope, an Owl of Luck, which you've seen in the game, and a Cat of Element, which you've seen in the game. So nothing too crazy. I mean, since Necro Valley can be on the field with an effect. They're not bad cards by any means, but they're not top priority for me at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip over those. They're not new. Let's see if Odeon has any new cards. Dark Coffin. Love this card. When this face-down card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, your opponent selects and executes one of the following effects. Discard 1 random card in their hand, and slip 1 monster inside of the field and destroy it. So you tell your opponent to pick their poison. I really like that fact. And you don't want to do it when they have no cards in hand. But if this card is face down, so if they go for like a... I mean, there are plenty of cards that we were just talking about. They added cards that destroy face down, spell or trap, Heartbeat's Hunting Ground, etc., etc. This would trigger. I really do like it. Oh, and then Odeon's last card. Hold on. I'm sorry, Pegasus. Pegasus, I'm sorry. Shut your mouth. Shut up. His last card is just an extra Mystical Beast, which stinks because I was grinding out Odeon to get Mystical Beasts. And I got 2 of them, and then I'm just trying to get him to level 25, but now I have no desire to get him to level 35. There's just no reason. Really quick before we move on, I made a mistake, and I realized that while editing, when I was going over Odeon, I confused Mystical Beast of Circuit with the Scorpion that you get that has the same ability. You get that Scorpion by dueling him. That's the one that I'm working on getting multiple copies of. I'll just show you guys really quick to clarify what I was talking about. I had a brain fart. I had a farting brain, just leaking gas all over the place. And I wanted to make sure I corrected myself in this video instead of just letting it go by and then people correct me nonstop, which is fine. I like that. But this card, only named Scorpion, it's 1 tribute. Each time this card destroys one monster your opponent's side of the field by battle and sent to the graveyard, this card gains 500 attack. So it's like the same thing, except it doesn't need Temple of the Kings to be around. I own 2 of these. Now I know that I do have to keep grinding Odeon to get a 3rd one, not get him up to level 25, so I've been wasting my time training him. Back to the card reviews. And then Pegasus's cards, the final duels that we're going to cover today. Shine Palace. 700 attack for a light monster. I think it's incredible. I mean, the only card we have right now that increases by 700 is the Spellcaster book that can only be equipped to Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. This now is for any light monster, and there's a plethora of incredible light monsters in this game, including fairies that I would want. Like, you put this with your Air Knight, they gotta miss Shizora. They gotta do something, because they're not getting rid of it when you attack defense position monsters. There's no way. It's gonna be what? 1924, 3100 attack. I love Shine Palace. I think it's a great card. Toon table of contents. Add one Toon card or Mega Ryuran from your deck into your hand. So Toon, I think Toon is a little bit, I don't think it's viable, to be honest. But that's all the new cards. I think Fairy is the strongest. 100%. I think Gaia the Swift Knight is pretty splashable. But what are your thoughts on this update and these new cards? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know where you placed and what super rare, ultra rare did you choose if you were lucky enough to place in the top 10,000. But with that, tomorrow we will have more dueling for you guys. I'm not sure if it'll be a budget deck. I might wait till Wednesday to do our first budget deck, or I might do it tomorrow. You'll have to come back. You'll have to hit subscribe to find out. With that, though, I'm going to get the hashtag out of here. Have yourselves a good day, but above all else, keep it